Welcome everybody for joining us for this happy occasion. Today we're having grand opening of the new exhibit about Lise Meitner, a German physicist who has been much neglected, I would say. And this will be done by Shila, who is an engineer from India, who also has postgraduate professional degree, had major real estate and IT system projects. And she first studied physics and continued exploring it on her own, especially the evolution of the atomic theory, which is what you'll be hearing about today, and the rise of quantum physics. And she believes that studying physics is a way of understanding nature itself. And I certainly agree with that. She believes that science can truly reach masses only when the language is made simple, and this exhibition that she built with great effort is one fine example of this, trying to make these complex ideas accessible. As far as the story of Lise Meitner, it inspires because it comes from a time when quantum physics was brand new and many old assumptions were challenged and understanding of reality was being transformed. And of course, it was also during a very turbulent time politically. So the way this will work is she will give a little introduction here. At the end of that, we will all teleport near the exhibit. To do that, you see there are two teleporters at the entrance of the auditorium. You go hop on those and you select EduSpace L2. And then you just see the crowd and you walk towards us. So then, one more thing. If you have any questions, please type them in the local text preceded with, in capital letters, question, colon, then ask a question and she will answer it. So without any further ado, I just introduce Shila. Shila, please go ahead.
Thank you for the nice introduction. Today we remember Lise Meitner, a woman scientist from Austria, whose life teaches us that brilliance means little without courage, and courage means everything when the world tests you. The question is, who was Lise Meitner? Let's see her character. Meitner was not only a pioneer of nuclear physics, she was a pioneer of integrity. At a time when women were pushed out of laboratories, she fought her way in. Her story inspires us because she proved that true greatness is not loud. It is steady. It is principled. It is the quiet strength to keep thinking clearly, even when life becomes uncertain. 1. She represents intelligence without arrogance. 2. She was surrounded by giants like Planck, Boltzmann, Hahn, and Einstein and still stood out. 3. She upheld her ethics when the world around her collapsed, showing how to hold the moral line under pressure. 4. She succeeded despite being excluded, ignored, and erased on account of her gender and race. 5. She made one of the greatest scientific insights of the 20th century, an example of clarity under pressure. This is slightly a different view than a scientist's. Her story reminds me that real impact does not depend on recognition, but on staying true to your principles. To me, her life shows that integrity is a form of power, which is why she continues to inspire me both as a scientist and as a person. Lise Meitner inspires me because she shows that brilliance matters little without integrity, and integrity matters most when tested. What moves me most about Lise Meitner is not only her scientific brilliance, but the dignity, restraint, and moral clarity with which she carried it. She lived through dark times without bitterness, choosing courage and quiet strength instead. This exhibition is designed to communicate these ideas through Lise Meitner's life story, The exhibition is organized into thematic sections. 1. Childhood and education. 2. 3 decades with Otto Hahn. 3. Social and political change in Germany. 4. How the scientific community helped her escape from Germany. 5. Discovery of the science behind nuclear fission. 6. Her reaction to the Hiroshima bombing. 7. The Nobel Prize controversy. 8. Reunion with Hahn and her return to Berlin after 9 years. 9. A life finally recognized. Each exhibit includes an audio narration, and a transcript is also available. Pick up your headphones at the entrance. Wear headphones. The headphone icon should appear in the bottom left corner. Enable media and set the media volume to maximum. Music volume to the lowest level. Tap the headphone icon at an exhibit to see the exhibit number and start the audio. It may take a moment for the audio to begin. I am happy to address any questions before we share the landmark of the exhibition venue.
To illustrate how impactful this exhibit is, we will now include one of its audio clips, which is 3 minutes in length. Lise Meitner was born in Austria and was of Jewish heritage. In the late 1930s, she was working in Berlin alongside Otto Hahn, courtesy of her Austrian passport. Unfortunately, Hitler had come to power in 1934, and the German government annexed Austria in 1938. At that point, because of her Jewish heritage, she became subject to arrest at any time. Otto Hahn reached out to colleagues and arranged an elaborate escape plan that would take Lise out of the country, with Sweden as her final destination. The following audio describes the heart-pounding moments that happened during her escape.
Lise Meitner's escape from Nazi Germany to the Netherlands, then Copenhagen, and finally Sweden unfolded in carefully planned stages. There was no margin for error. A single mistake could have led to Meitner being arrested by the Gestapo. On the night before her departure, Meitner worked in the laboratory as usual, staying late to avoid suspicion. They even took a final photograph together, a quiet moment before everything changed. That night, she stayed with the Hahn family. Hahn gave her a diamond ring and a few Dutch marks for emergencies, a silent gesture of protection for the unknown dangers ahead.
At dawn, she left with nothing that could draw suspicion. No scientific papers. No letters. Nothing that hinted at her identity. Her hands trembled as Hahn drove her through Berlin streets, past posters, checkpoints, and uniforms that reminded her of the danger surrounding them.
At Lerter Bahnhof, he said goodbye quickly to avoid attention. It was a quiet, painful farewell. Hahn later wrote that taking Lise to the train was one of the hardest moments of his life.
Inside the station, uniformed officers patrolled the platforms, checking documents and watching travelers closely. Meitner carried only a small suitcase. She avoided eye contact. Her invalid passport was hidden deep in her handbag. She boarded the train alone, beginning the most dangerous journey of her life.
In her compartment sat a young soldier, a mother with a child, and two businessmen. Meitner folded her hands in her lap and tried to appear like an ordinary academic on a routine trip. But inside, she was terrified. Every footstep in the corridor made her heart race. Every uniform passing the window felt like a threat. She rehearsed answers in her mind, imagining the moment a conductor might demand her papers.
When the conductor finally entered, her pulse hammered in her ears. He checked the soldier's ticket, then the mother's, then the businessman's. When he looked at her, she handed him only her ticket. He stamped it and moved on.
Near Hanover, the train slowed. Officers stood on the platform. Two walked past her window. One glanced inside. She held her breath until the train moved again. As the border approached, German officers boarded for document inspection. This was the moment she feared most. A guard examined her invalid passport. He frowned. He hesitated. For a long, unbearable moment, the world seemed to stop.
Then, without a word, he handed the passport back. It was as if Koster's arrangements had quietly cleared the way. She had passed the German side. On the other side of the border, Koster was waiting.